Have you ever wanted to sit down with musicians and pick their brains? Ask questions like, how did you get your start? What keeps you motivated to create and play? What do you do outside of music that inspires you, or what advice do you have for aspiring musicians? If you want the answers to those questions from a plethora of musicians and other creatives, listen to the podcast Extra Musical, hosted by me, Stephen Philip Harvey. Every Monday, we sit down with a new musician to ask them these questions in an open-ended conversation, and you'd be surprised where it leads. Extra Musical airs on your preferred podcast provider.
Hi, I'm Daniel Peck, and welcome to Live at the Bop Stop. Pianist, composer, and arranger Tamir Hendelman is known for his dynamic and sensitive approach at the piano, his imaginative arrangements for his trio, and as a longtime member of the Jeff Hamilton Trio. He has performed and recorded with an array of vocalists, from Natalie Cole to Barbra Streisand, Roberta Gambarini to Tierney Sutton. This performance, however, is a solo program featuring interpretations of both standards and of his own compositions, including those of his most recent jazz chart-topping album, Destinations. From March 5th, 2023, it's Tamir Hendelman, live at the Bop Stop.
very much. Thank you very, very much. It's great to be here in this intimate setting on a Sunday evening, and can't think of anything I'd rather do. You know, enjoy some music with you. So thanks for sharing the evening with me. I'm going to treat this as a little bit of a living room concert. You know, playing some of the music that I love from different composers and so on, some of the people that I've worked with, and the next couple of songs are going to be inspired by a pianist who I first heard when I was about 10 or 12 years old in Israel. One of the inspirations for me getting into jazz, his name was Corea. And later I came to LA and got to hear him there many times and all around the world. And a couple of years before he passed, I was in Switzerland playing with the Jeff Hamilton Trio. And we just finished a recording with Scott Hamilton, the great saxophonist. And Chick was in town, so I went down to hear him at the big concert hall. But by then we'd been friends and corresponded and so on. And I was very, got a big smile on my face when his manager tapped me on the shoulder in the audience. He said, hey, Chick wondered if you wanted to play a tune with him. So I got to do that. Sweet memory of that. Very generous man, very creative man. So I'm going to play a few selections by Chick. There is one of my favorite songs of his called Tones for Joan's Bones. There is a wonderful song called 500 Miles High. And Chick was always a dreamer. And then I'm going to finish that particular mini set with a song that harkens to one of Chick's big bebop influences, and that's the great composer Bud Powell, and that's an original of Chick's called Bud Powell. So here are 3 songs for Chick. so much. We've got a fireplace too. This is cozy. This is great. Traveling the last few weeks has been very interesting weather-wise. I was in the Caribbean on the jazz cruise while LA, where I'm from, was being rained on, and then went to Chicago and experienced the wind over there. And you all have a little wind over here too, I think, just a little bit. All right, I'm going to play now a song inspired by a trip to Alaska. And this is a song that has a connection to my childhood because my grandmother was originally from Poland. She moved to Israel when she was very little. And in her apartment, she had little knickknacks from trips that she used to take to various countries. And she brought these nesting dolls that were laying around the house. And years later, I was on tour with my trio in Alaska, and I was walking down the main street of Sitka, Alaska. And on a snowy night, there was a little shop of souvenirs with these nesting dolls. And all of a sudden, I heard this little melody. So this is dedicated to my grandmother, and it's called Babushka.
You're listening to Tamir Hendelman, live at the Bop Stop.
Well, so far today I've been playing mostly instrumental tunes, and I'm not going to be starting to sing right now, don't worry, but I am going to play a couple of songs with lyrics. And one of the vocalists that I've gotten to play with over the years is the great Natalie Cole, of course, daughter of the great Nat King Cole. And I did an album with her called Still Unforgettable, which was a follow-up to her great Unforgettable album. And in Los Angeles, there's so many great arrangers, so we were really lucky to have arrangements by people like Patrick Williams, Nan Schwartz, amazing writers who write beautifully for strings. But I remember touring with her and having her voice just swing the whole band. Just, with 2 chords, didn't need much. She would, whatever was going on in her life, she would just bring everybody with that love and that swing and so on. So I'm going to play a song that I actually recorded instrumentally with Jeff Hamilton and John Clayton on my first album, which is called Playground. And this is a song that actually Nat King Cole made very famous, and it's called It's Only a Paper Moon. Well, with all this snow, I think it's time to do a couple of songs that relate to spring. Over the last couple of years, during the pandemic, I was doing these solo concerts. And they were concerts that I did at home because of a particular reason. You might know about some reason why I might have done these concerts at home. And every week I picked a theme, and I would pick the music of this person, the music of that person. And after a while, I was getting a little bit lonely. You know, I was like, I'm all here by myself. I know there's some people out there, but it'd be nice to have another person here, you know, masked, protected, and all that. So I began to invite some friends over. So one of them is the wonderful, wonderful, great singer Tierney Sutton. And I've been doing some concerts with her now live, in person as a duo. And during the pandemic, when we were putting these concerts together, we began to use different themes. So we did the concert of the seasons of Johnny Mercer, because he wrote many songs about the seasons. And other things, summer and spring and things like that. And so this next medley has a few songs that have to do with spring. And spring, this you can especially feel it if you hear the lyrics, but you can tell songs about spring are kind of like spring weather. It's not always happy, right? It can be like, spring is here. You know, why doesn't my heart go dancing, right? It can be, spring can really hang you up the most. But it can also be joy spring, right? So I'm going to take you through a couple of different weather changes. You guys are used to it, and we'll take it from there. Oh, and the last song you will not recognize because it's an instrumental from my album Playground, which, by the way, is here, hiding over there. How many people still have CD players? Raise your hands. All right, okay, that's good. Okay, 3 left, all right. Okay, there's a few more in the back. So the last song will be a song called Spring Action, which I wrote just about kind of that excitement when things begin to gather and things begin to happen. And I kind of feel like this is one of those times. You know, the musicians are starting to get out and tour and, you know, things are happening. Right? It feels good, right? Yeah, so Spring Action. I wouldn't recommend singing along, though, but that's another story. you. Well, just a couple of days ago, we lost one of the great masters of this music, and I'm talking about the great Wayne Shorter. And back in LA, I teach at UCLA, and we have a special program of very talented musicians, young musicians. And there's also another program that's kind of like a master's program, but it's very limited. It's just for 5 hand-picked musicians that get to study with Herbie Hancock and used to be able to study with Wayne Shorter as well. And Wayne Shorter was known for being very much a forward thinker. He would read and look at movies, science fiction, and he write operas and do a lot of imaginative things, and a lot of his titles had very interesting images like dance cadavers and all kinds of speak no evil and things like that. And in fact, I heard a story that he went to somebody's concert and he said, "Wow, you're very fluent, you should see more movies." So I'm going to play now a short medley of songs dedicated to Wayne. The first one is called Infant Eyes, and the next one is called Yes or No. Thank you so very much, everyone. I want to tell you it's been a great pleasure to play here tonight, and I want to thank you all for coming out. There's a great jazz community here in town. We have wonderful musicians such as the great Eric Dregney with his Scotch Anderson Orchestra, who I got to play with, and Liz, wonderful vocalist. And also Jim Wadsworth, thanks for coming over here. Good memories from Nighttown, and hopefully more things to come. And I want to thank Brian Kennard for just really taking on the helm of this wonderful institution and doing all the great work with the education and so on. So I'm going to sign off with a little blues that I wrote for my daughter. I have two daughters. They're now teenagers officially, 13 and 15, doing all kinds of things, dance and sports and tournaments and things. And this is for my older daughter. Her name is Zoey, and this is called Blues for Zoey. Feel free to snap along on this one. And thanks one more time. Take care. Thank you so much. Thank you for that welcome. The Cleveland welcome. All right. I'm going to send you off on your way with a beautiful ballad. And this, I believe, I know it was arranged by the great Johnny Mandel. And I first heard this on an album that he wrote and arranged strings around the wonderful pianist and vocalist Shirley Horn. And later I got to perform this on a recording with Barbra Streisand that he arranged as well. And this is a beautiful message if you ever get a chance to listen to the words of this song. This is called Here's to Life. Thank you so much one more time. Thanks for coming. Hope to see you again. Thank you again.
Live at the Bop Stop is made possible by the Music Settlement, serving Northeast Ohio by offering music instruction, music therapy, and early childhood education since 1912. The Music Settlement's mission is to welcome all to our music and arts community to learn, create, inspire, and heal. This program is recorded at the Robert Conrad Studios at the Bop Stop in Cleveland, Ohio. Additional production at the Bop Stop is provided by Graham Rosen. Technical editing for the program is provided by Dr. Pete Negley, Sean Gilbert, and Darren Thompson through Gilazar Media. The executive producer and writer is Daniel Peck, with additional consulting production on behalf of the Music Settlement by Brian Kennard. For extended versions of all of our shows, our Live at the Bop Stop podcast can be found on your favorite podcast app or visit our website at www.themusicsettlement.org and click on the Live at the Bop Stop radio show link. To reach out directly, email liveatthebopstop@gmail.com. I'm Daniel Peck. Join me again next time, live at the Bop Stop.